if faith is something that we're saved by, and it's not actually our faith really, but God's faith, then why does the Bible seem perfectly comfortable with consistently claiming that faith belongs to the one expressing it? These are just a few of many, many more verses. Mark 5:34, Mark 10:52, Matthew 9:22, 1 Corinthians 15:17, Luke 8:48, Revelation 2:19, 1 Peter 1:7. And so these are all passages, and again, there's many more that we could look to where it's referred to as, to the believer, your faith or our faith. It's as if it belongs to us or in some form is being expressed by us. It just conveys this idea of ownership that I think would be a bit inappropriate if the Calvinist understanding of it was true. In other words, if faith is itself righteousness, if it's a righteous activity that only God is able to cause or perform, then to say your faith, like Jesus says in Mark 5:34, he says, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." Another place is Matthew 9:22. "Take courage, daughter," he said, "your faith has healed you." Your faith has healed you. Luke 7:50, and Jesus told the woman, "Your faith has saved you. Go in peace." 1 John 5:4. "This is the victory that has overcome the world, even our faith." 2 Timothy 1:5. "I am reminded of your sincere faith, Timothy." Your faith. 2 Corinthians 1:24. "Not that we lord it over your faith, but we work with you for your joy." So, if faith is in itself some kind of righteousness in the sense of meriting or contributing to our salvation, then it would seem highly inappropriate for the authors of the New Testament, and I think pretty much all the authors of the New Testament do this, to consistently and unashamedly refer to it as your faith or our faith. Of course, at this point, a Calvinist could simply respond by saying that once God causes them to have faith, it becomes their own. But God also causes us to have his righteousness, and yet the Bible doesn't seem too comfortable with ever referring to it as our righteousness or your righteousness. The Bible would say you're saved by your faith, but would the Bible say you're saved by your righteousness? God gives us righteousness too, doesn't he? And so, there's a sense in which, yes, God gives us things and then they belong to us, but I think we would agree probably that in many cases it would be a bit inappropriate or misleading if Paul or the New Testament writers talked about how the believers were saved because of your righteousness, or it's our righteousness that saved us. Even if God had gifted it to them, I think we'd agree that would be a little bit unsettling, right? And so if faith is equivalent to righteousness, as the Calvinist implies that it is, in some fashion, it is a righteous thing that totally depraved humans cannot perform. If that is the case, then again, I'm just asking, why is the Bible perfectly comfortable with referring to it as your faith and our faith, as if it belongs and in some sense comes from us?